What's up, fight fans? It's I9s. Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be breaking down UFC Sao Paulo, I think it is. I don't know. Could be wrong. But it's UFC fight card with Almeida versus Derek Lewis stepping in on short notice, replacing Curtis Blades. As of last week's card, I went 11-2, which is one of my best cards of the year so far. There was some shenanigans on that card, I'm not going to lie. Like the Johnny Walker stuff, and the doctor had like one more mishap earlier on the card. Goofy ass doctor, get him out of here. But overall, I lost another main event, but I still did really good on the card, so I won a lot of people money, I'd like to think. Let's get to the first fight of the night. Cowboy Fernandez taking on Mark Diakhiese. I'm going Mark Diakhiese. I watched Cowboy Fernandez's last couple of fights. He just looks so small for lightweight. On top of that, he's stepping in short notice, and he's debuting in the UFC after losing on the regional scene, which I never like to see if I'm trying to back a prospect coming into the UFC. Them being on a loss and a finish loss at that, it just really kills your chances of me taking you seriously moving forward, especially when you're taking on someone that has 14 fights in the UFC. Mark Diakhiese is 7-7, which isn't great, but, you know, he's fought some really good people, so I'm going Diakhiese. Next up, Eduardo Mora taking on Montserrat Ruiz. This is another debuting undefeated fighter, but this one I have a lot more trust in than a lot of these other debuting fighters that we've been watching. This will be taking place at a catch weight of 120 pounds. Mora is 9-0, Montserrat Ruiz is 10-3. Ruiz just does not look that good, man. She's had some like close fights in the octagon so far, but overall, I don't know, I just feel like the UFC's kind of screwing her with this matchmaking. I'm going to have to go Mora for sure. Moving on up the card, Angela Hill taking on Denise Gomez. This is a difficult fight. I counted out Denise Gomez earlier in the year when she took on that one Mexican prospect that was undefeated, and she just starched her in the first round, like first minute of the round. Absolutely obliterated her. She has crazy power. It's pretty like Jessica Andrade-esque. But I've watched Angela Hill on short notice like dance around power punches like this. I've watched Angela Hill dance around the one person that, or one of the two people that beat Denise Gomes in Luna Luke Boone, just danced around her on like a week's notice, flying into enemy territory. But I'm still going to have to go with Denise Gomes, bro, just because of that power. I know. I'm sorry. I had to throw the curveball. Next up, Vitor Petrino taking on Modestas Bukauskas. This one is so difficult to call. I kind of want to lean Modestas Bukauskas, especially because he proved me wrong earlier in the year, taking out, man, I'm forgetting his name right now, but he just had like a great finish, and he did the samurai pose and everything. Oh, Tyson Pedro. He did really good there, and he's been on like kind of a redemption arc coming back into the UFC. But Vitor Petrino is just kind of a physical specimen. He's going to have the confidence of being undefeated. He trains with a really good team over there in Brazil. I don't know. It's hard for me to pick against that. I think it's going to come down to being a really close striking matchup that is taken to the ground by Petrino and probably finished on the ground by Petrino. If I had to like really bet on a finish, I would go on the ground. Moving on up the card, Renat Fakhretdinov taking on Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. I'm picking Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. He has a win over the middleweight champion, Sean Strickland. And I know it was back when they were at welterweight, but that's still impressive as hell because Sean Strickland's never been like an easy walk in the park fight for anybody at any point in his career, even for Kamaru Usman. On top of that, he has the only win over Benoit Saint Denis, who is like a proven killer. And now, that was a weight class above for Benoit, but I don't care. That's still so impressive to take out somebody like that. And it wasn't a finish, but it was still a great fight. He has other just really solid wins, and Renat is a murderer. Honestly, my better half would tell me to go with Renat, but I have to pick a dog somewhere on this card, because usually, even if I have like a damn near perfect card, there's one mix-up, so I'm going to trust Zaleski to be that mix-up. Moving on up the card, Elvis Brenner taking on Kainan Kruszwski. Bro, I'm sorry, bro. I don't know how to pronounce that shit. Hopefully Bruce Buffer or whoever the fuck is announcing this card will help me with that. I'm gonna be siding with Elvis Brenner. You can't pick against a dog like that after his fight with Guram Kutateladze. That was an amazing fight. Nobody picked Elvis Brenner. I sure as hell didn't. I didn't think he had that dog in him like that, but he really does. And I rewatched that fight yesterday. Just as hype as the first time I watched it, honestly. If you haven't seen it, please do yourself a favor. Go back and watch that fight. It's awesome. But Elvis Brenner just shows the dog in him. He shows that, like, technically, he's pretty fucking good, too. He was actually dominating on the ground in the first round for, like, 3-4 minutes of the fight. So, if you could do that to somebody like Guram, yeah, enough said, really. I'm trusting Elvis Brenner. Moving on up the card, we've got Rodolfo Vieira taking on Armin Petrosyan. I am really surprised in the odds on this one. Arman is now the underdog just slightly against Rodolfo Vieira, which is crazy to me. I mean, they have the same record, but they don't exactly have the same level of competition that they faced. I would say that Arman's level of competition is a bit better, and he also has proven himself to be a way better striker, obviously, and has a great gas tank in comparison to Rodolfo Vieira, whose gas tank is by far his biggest weakness. Now, he has tightened it up a bit over the years, but still, on the feet, washed. I'm picking Arman. Moving on up the card, Kyle Baralho taking on Abus Magomedov. We just watched this man get absolutely sparked by Sean Strickland, who usually doesn't put people away like that, right? And he had no more than one round in him. If he comes out like a bat out of hell against Kyle, he has probably his best chance of winning, in my opinion. And I know that's probably weird to hear. You'd think, oh no, don't do that again. You want to maintain your gas tank. No, I don't think your gas tank is going to really matter in this fight, because you're not going to be able to outlast Kyle even on your best days, right? So your best shot at putting out somebody like this who's going to grapple fuck you is with a knockout. But I'm still going Kyle Baralho with the grapple fuck. Feature fight of the night, which should have been the last fight, honestly. Rodrigo Nascimento taking on Dante Almeida. Again, this should have been the last fight, and Kyle Baralho should have been the feature fight. I'm going Rodrigo Nascimento. He's just better on the feet. He has those leg kicks that he mixes in really nicely. Stiff jab. He's going to walk Dante Almeida down, whose best department is in the grappling, and I don't think he's going to be able to take down Rodrigo Nascimento and really lay on him and keep him there, which is, again, his best bet. Dante Almeida is just trash, dude. I don't remember what fight it was that really pissed me off about him, which is funny, but I still remember, I still carry that sentiment. I carry the same energy from whatever fight that he really screwed me over. So I'm picking Rodrigo Nascimento. Moving on up the card, co-main event, Gabriel Bonfim, one of the Bonfim brothers, the younger one, I believe, but honestly the better of the two, taking on Nicholas Dalby, who is surprisingly 22-4-1. A solid record. You would not expect that type of record from somebody like him. Looking at his UFC career thus far, took on Alex Oliveira in his debut, won, no contest against Jesse Ronson, win against D-Rod, and then a loss to Tim Means, win against Claudio Silva, win against Warley Alves, win against Muslim Salikov. He had a draw with Darren. Okay, wait. Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot. He was in the UFC at one point and then got cut out. Nicholas Dalby is really good, I'm not going to lie. He's really good, but he's a point fighter. And Gabriel Bonfim is a finisher, and he's undefeated. He's kind of ferocious in his approach. I'm going to trust Gabriel Bonfim to take it to the ground immediately with a power takedown and probably wrap up a finish really quickly. If he doesn't, I could see this being a little bit more competitive of a fight, going the distance. If it is able to, then probably people are counting. I'm sorry, I have to go Gabriel Bonfim. I was trying to find a way to make this good for Dalby, but there's no way to. Main event, Jailton Almeida taking on Derek Lewis. Dude, I can't get another main event wrong. I'm so fucking tired of that. We only have a couple more for the year. I was on such a hot streak at one point. I think almost double-digit win streak, if not at a double-digit win streak on main events. And then the Holly Holm main event fucking halted my first momentum, right? Then the next main event was it Sean Strickland, which I'm not even mad about, bro. I'm fine with that one breaking my win streak. Jailton Almeida, I trust you to go in there and ragdoll Derek Lewis and do whatever you want in the first round. I trust him so much that I really think it comes down to the coin flip of, is he going to TKO him on the ground or is he going to sub him in the first round? I think it's probably going to be in the third minute, and you can bet on that on some fucking sites, which you should, honestly. But Derek Lewis is that fighter that has two buttons in front of him. One of them says lose horrendously and show absolutely no signs of anything positive about you as a fighter in the fight, or the other button, absolutely have a highlight reel for the ages, spectacular knockout, upset of the year type of shit. There's only two options with Derek Lewis. It's not going to be a close competitive scrap of a fight. I have to go Jailton Almeida. I'm just going to Jailton by whatever he wants. That's going to be it for today, guys. Drop a sub if you fuck with the content. Drop some hate if you don't. I know a lot of y'all love to do that lately. I'll catch y'all.